Okay, good day everyone. So we are going to wrap up what we have discussed last time about writing objective test. So we'll start with the true or false test, or um, another name it's the alternate response, or some it's a dual response test. So uh, some it's true or false. Okay, some also it's a yes or no, or yes or no test, or right or wrong, no? As long as you have two answers. Okay, we are all equivalent. Okay, let us try to study the following test items. Okay, so let us try to study which one it's a good item or a poor item. Okay, so let's have this one. So here are the answers. No? 1, 3, and 4. Okay, are poor item. 2 is a good item here. Then 5 and 7 are poor. 6 is a good, true, a good item test. Okay, here are the revised one. No? So high IQ students always get high grades in school. Okay, the first one is a poor item because it uses absolute always, no? So it uses infinitives. We will try to avoid the use of infinitives. Okay. Then number three, a plane crash on Mexican-American border. Half of the fatalities will be buried in Mexico and half in the United States. Okay, what's the uh, original one? I guess it's no. Okay, half of the uh, make the statement simple. No? So half this fatality is buried in Mexico. So definitely period, because more likely if it's uh, Mexican American border, so definitely the other half would be in United States. So period, half would be buried in Mexico. Okay, so to improve this, we will try to avoid the use of double negatives. So then also, since it is a opinion, so we'll try to add the source of the opinion. Okay, so to check that one, to revise that, so according to the National Institute of Diplomacy, the author of uh, the opinion or the statement. So the use of double negatives is the desirable trait of diplomats and academicians. So what happens here? We remove the double negatives. Okay. Okay. Number five, it's again opinionated. Okay. So to make it a true or a false statement, so we include the agency. No. So whether it's true or false, as long as uh, uh, um, the author of the statement there was taken, or the agency was taken there. So to say that either the test item is purely true or purely false. Okay, also with number seven, no, we try to we'll try to simplify it. We try to add the what's this the author again of the opinion. Then also we try to make it a simple sentence. No. So number seven, we have a complex sentence, right? Try to read the first statement. It's a complex sentence. So here we only have a simple sentence. Okay, so here are the suggestions. Okay, should the desired method for the marking. So how it should be rated. Uh, so you must indicate that in your direction. Should be clearly explained before the students begin the test. So dapat your direction must be clear and also complete. Construct statements are definitely true. So definitely true or definitely false without any additional qualifications. So if you use opinion, so try to attribute it to some source. So whether the source is correct or not, so at least you attribute it. Construct items carefully so that the reading level is within the capacity of the students. I guess this is true to all type of objective tests. Use relatively short statements and eliminate extraneous material. So make it a simple sentence. As much as possible, all true or false test items must be of equal length. Okay, and avoid the use of double negatives. Then avoid also this one, verbal clues, absolutes, and complex sentence. So try to avoid that one. Tricky statements and negative statements, so try to avoid that. So avoid negative statements. Avoid road statements that are not usually true or false without further qualification. And terms denoting indefinite degree or absolutes. Then, okay, there should be no pattern in the answer keys, no? As much as possible, you try to write, let us say, a balance, but in random. So maybe you can have it random, uh, five true answers, five false answers, or you can have 4-6 ratio or 6-4 ratio. Okay, next, do not take statements directly from the book, directly from the context. No? So do not just copy paste it. Somehow you try to paraphrase them. Then prepare all the answer keys. Okay, so ways of reducing the effect of guessing. Encourage all students to guess when they do not know the correct answer. Yeah. Require revision of statements that are false. Okay, so if you want to make it more difficult, try to make it a modified true or false. So I will just leave this to you. Okay, we have the matching type. So I will just leave this to you again. So let us try to study for some minutes. Uh, this example. Okay. Uh, Here are some list of false of the given test. No? So homogeneity, okay, homogeneity, okay. The test items here are not homogeneous. Why? So it contains here uh, three groups. We have presidents, then we also have inventors, and we also have civil rights leaders. Okay. Then order of the list. So longer statements should be placed at the right side, not at the left. Okay. The reason behind this is that we read from left to right. No? So parang convenience na rin also for the test taker. Then uh, easy guessing because there are equal number of options and the descriptions. No? As much as possible, there should be more options than uh, the questions or premises. Okay, the direction, there is no basis for matching. So you should include the basis for matching for writing the direction. So here is an example of a good direction for a matching type test. Okay, okay, too many correct response. So you have the description during the 12th century has three defensive answers. Okay, Nixon, Ford, and Roosevelt. They all belong to the 20th century. Then we have the ambiguous list of answers. So we have Roosevelt, no, and we have also Ford. We don't know if it's Franklin or Theodore or Roosevelt, or we could say Henry Ford or Gerald Ford. So to improve this one, so we try to include their first name also. Okay, so as conclusion, it needs revision. So here is the revisions. So we try to divide it into, what's this? Into two tests. We divide it into two tests. The first part is about the presidents. The second part, it's about the inventors. Then, okay, so the longer statements are on column A, shorter statements in column B. Okay, the direction is complete. The basis of matching is there. Then the options are arranged in alphabetical order. No, so try to look at their family names. Okay, so they are all arranged in alphabetical order. Okay, so okay, so that's it. No, so here are the suggestions for matching type. So make the descriptions and list of options fairly short and homogeneous. So meaning we say homogeneous, they must be of the same type. Title of the list ensure homogeneity, so you also include that one, and arrange descriptions and options in logical order. Make sure all options are plausible destructor for each description to ensure homogeneity of the list. Okay, longer statements or phrase should be placed at the left side in column A. Then the shorter will be on the column B. Okay, the description, the premises should be numbered, while the options should be identified by letters. Okay, there should be more options, and always specify the basis of matching in your direction. So I'll just leave this one to you to read. Okay, let's have the completion type test. Okay, so let us try to study this one. Okay, so here are the faults. No, here are the answers. No, 1, 2, 3 are poor items. Also 5 and 6. Okay, so why are they poor? So item one. So there there are two blanks. No, as much as possible in one item, there should only be one blank. Then item 2, actually item 2 and item 3, they call for many answers. No, Columbus discovered in, let's say, it could be uh, the year, no, or in in 1500s or 15th century, or it could be the purpose. So in search for India, no, let's say the capital of Mexico is crowded, so that could be also true, or the capital of Mexico is big. For here, it's a good test item, so it's better you write your test items in question form. Okay, 5 and 6, there are use of multiple blanks, and also there should be no blanks at the near beginning of the sentence. Okay, I will just leave this one to you to read. Here are the revised one, no? So, so here are some revisions. So here, so there's only one blank. So Columbus discovered America in the year, so it speaks of the year. Also here, the name of the capital city of Mexico is, so it will ask for the name of the capital city. Number 5, I guess number 5 is, I tend to disagree with this one. This is still not a good item test. Okay, anyway, so I will just leave this one to you again to read. Okay, let's uh, summarize the suggestions in writing the completion or supply type test. So, if possible, items should require a single word answer or a brief or definite statement. As much as possible. Avoid statements that are indefinite that may be logical answered by several terms. So just like what we have kanina sa example number 2 and number 3. Okay? So be sure that the question or statement poses a problem to the examinee. A direct question is often more desirable than an incomplete statement because it provides more structure as much as possible in a supply type test, and also true. This is also true for multiple choice tests. So it's better to write items in question form. Be sure that the answer that the student is required to produce is factually correct. Okay. Be sure that the use in the question is precise and accurate in relation to the subject matter are tested. Okay. Omit or delete only the keywords. So the blank should be the keywords. Okay. Don't eliminate so many elements that sense of the content is impaired. So as much as possible, there should only be one blank in the test item. Okay. Blank should be placed at the near beginning of the sentence, not uh, should not be placed at the near beginning. It should be at the end, near end. And lastly, if the problem requires numerical answer, indicate the units in which it is to be expressed. So, indicate the units. Okay, multiple choice test. So I will just leave this one to you. Multiple choice test, I would just like to add it's both subjective type of test and objective type. Subjective in terms of construct, because the answer may depend on the taste of the one who made the test. Objective in terms of scoring. Uh, so care. So that's the beauty of multiple choice testing. Um, from all of the objective tests, okay, multiple choice tests can assess varied uh, cognitive level. No, it can test uh, remembering, understanding, applying, and analyzing. But it cannot. Sometimes it assess evaluating, but it cannot assess creating. No? So up to analyzing lang si multiple choice test. Okay, so let us try to study some examples here. U.S. grant. Okay, here. Then this one. Okay, 6. Okay, so it says here 2, 4, 5, and 6 are poor items. Okay. Um, Here are the corrections. Okay. Before we are going to do the corrections, so let us try to study where is it being false. So I guess number 1 calls for many answers now. So the options here are all correct. Okay, number 2, it's a very good item because it asks for definite question. Number 3, it is a poor item because there is a verbal clue. So there was a free floating structure, so not with free ribosome. So definitely, though I didn't know the answer here, I will definitely say D, no, because of nasa like free, no, the word's free. By the way, the answer there it's D. Then here it's more of a opinion, more of an opinion, and it calls for many answers. Also for number 5, calls for many answers. Number 6 is not a good item because, okay, there is a verbal clue. Which of the following are? So meaning there are more than one answer. So definitely I would not say A, B, and C. So it could be either D or E. So you may also do that one as nested type, not nested type, multiple choice test. Well, if you are going to improve that one. So here are some corrections. Okay. So we try to state the first sentence, the first item into question form. Then for number 3, we try to remove the word free in the stem. Number 4, so we state the agency. Okay, number 6 here. So we try to remove the verbal clues. So instead of R, so we say which of the following is slash R. So it could be one answer or it could be 2 or more answers. Okay, for number 7, we do not have this one. Okay, you may arrange these options here in logical length, no? The least is B, then so we try to interchange B and A as well as C and D. Here are some guidelines in writing a multiple choice test. Okay. The stem of the test should be clearly formulate a problem. So as much as possible, it is better to write the test item in question form. Include as much of the item as possible, keeping the response options as short as possible. However, include only the material needed to take the problem clear and specific. Be concise and don't add extraneous information. Okay, be sure that there is only one and only one correct answer or clearly best answer. Okay, make sure uh, wrong answers are plausible. So one way is to eliminate grammatical clues or verbal clues. Keep the length and form all the answer choices equal. Usually, the reason behind this, we should make it equal because longer statements usually are the correct answers. You can rotate the correct answer from item to item randomly. Another way in writing the options is you try to arrange them in the alphabetical order, no? And or in a logical order. Okay. Use negative when the use of negative statements. Um, when you are going to use this one, you have to use negative statements only if knowledge is being tested requires it. In most cases, it is more important for the student what specific item of information is rather than what is not. Sometimes, if you are going to use negative statements, you have to highlight the negative statement. Say, which of the following is not an example of? So, you try to highlight the not not, or the following. The following are examples of uh, complete instructional objectives, except. So, the except you try to highlight it. No caps lock. So the negative statements are in caps lock. So include 3 to 5 options, 4 destructors plus 1 correct one to optimize the testing for the knowledge rather than the encouraging guessing. It is not necessary to provide additional destructors for an item to maintain the same number of destructors. This is usually leads to poorly constructed destructors and to add nothing to validity and reliability. Okay, I will explain that one later to the next lesson. Now, why is it uh, there is a limit on uh, how many destructors or how many options do we need to write in a multiple choice test. Okay, to increase the difficulty of the multiple choice item, increase the similarity of options. Dapat ang options parang answer din, no? So dapat the options should be parang the correct. The destructors are parang answer din. So you must choose of the same kind options. So they must be of belong to of the same kind. Okay, use option none of the above sparingly and only when the keyed answer can be classified unequivocally as right or wrong. Okay, try to minimize the use and also avoid using all of the above options. Usually all of the above options are the correct answer. Okay, so I will just leave this to you to uh, study, to read, Okay, so here are advantage, disadvantages. Okay, so let's move on to the essay item. A, the most violated test item of all, no? So, okay, before we are going to uh, proceed with uh, the guidelines for writing an essay item, so we should try to uh, evaluate first, or we try to understand first how or what is the purpose of having an essay item. Okay, an English professor once corrected it. This is not an essay item because essay, if we are going to write an essay, it's always extended. So there should be more than one paragraph. So one English professor said it should be written as constructed response test, not essay, because essay should have more than one paragraph. Okay, so an essay item is one of the student supplies rather than selects the correct answer. So they are going to construct or write, no? Must okay. In an essay item, students are required to compose their response rather than to write a single response answer. Okay, the accuracy and quality of such response often only be judged by the person skilled and informed in the subject area being tested. Okay, so si expert dapat ang mag-check for the essay item for the constructed response test. Okay, like objective test, essay items should okay can be categorized as good or poorly constructed. Okay, this is the description of a well-constructed essay item. No, a well-constructed essay item aims to test complex cognitive skills. So it should have higher order thinking skills. No, so it should require students to organize, integrate, synthesize knowledge, uh, to use information to solve novel problems, okay, or to be original or innovative in problem solving. Poorly constructed essay item requires students to do more than recall. So parang marami tayo dyan. Marami tayong guilty dyan, no? So as I mentioned, the most violated test item is the essay item test. So okay, so worse, poorly constructed essay may not even let the students know what is required for a satisfactory response. Okay, so let us try to show an example of a poorly constructed test item. Okay, I guess this is very important. No? A well-constructed essay item should clearly indicate the cognitive skills. So it should indicate the cognitive skills or process that should be employed to formulate the answers, clarify ambiguous details, and set appropriate page or time limits. A well-constructed essay make it easier for you to evaluate accurately the student's response. Okay, so let us try to study this example. Okay, question number one is a poorly constructed test. No? Why? So what is the learning outcome being tested here? Then it calls only for a recall of information. Okay, the item is at the knowledge level. No higher level mental process are being taped. So low level lang. Uh, so so for this type of test, I would rather recommend objective tests rather than using essay tests. No. So this is not an abuse of essay item, but a misuse. Again, no, essay items should assess higher order thinking skills, not low level thinking skills. Okay, here is an example of a good test item. Okay, so it states for the outcome. Okay, and also it's the oh, so they have provided some tables no, in support of what they have. Then there's a guide on how to answer. Okay, there's a guide. No? Um, you can also add the basis on how they should be rated. Okay, so here, if you try to look at one, it assesses complex skills. No, so the question did not just ask students to recall something, but also it asks for the students to relate standards. Uh, okay, so they try to relate it to some factors, no? Okay, and also the item classifies really what you are expecting from your students, no? In short, the students must use higher level mental processes to answer this question successfully. So in here, not only a factual recall is assessed, but also students are asked to analyze, infer, organize, apply, and so on. Okay, so I will just leave this to you to read the examples of uh, an extended essay and a restricted essay. Okay, so the basis of scoring is also included in writing the test items. Okay, okay, so those are the examples. Okay, here are some guidelines for writing the uh, restricted response test. Okay, so I will just leave this to you to read. Okay, and that's all. That's all.